Honey, why do you call him Drop Dead Fred?
Because that's his name, Daddy.
Like many small children, Lizzie had an imaginary playmate.
Drop Dead Fred is going to teach me how to cook today.
Someone she could talk to.
Sugar?
Yeah.
Someone she could share with.
Oh, Grandma Bun!
Someone who would never let her down.
No more Drop Dead Fred. Period.
So, this morning I thought we'd have a discussion about a movie that you can't get a hold of anymore, but yet in the 80s it was one of the most popular movies of all time. And it was called Drop Dead Fred. Now, the movie is about a little girl and her imaginary friend, which really wasn't an imaginary friend. He was a fourth dimensional being. And a lot of kids can see these beings, and I've talked about this numerous times, but as was the tradition, mothers, of course, were concerned their children were having mental breakdowns and don't talk about Fred.
It's just because their pineal glands are perfectly clean and functioning when they're born, and they're not born with the preconceived notion that spirits are bad and that you shouldn't communicate with them. No, that's why children can see these things. Thank you. Ooh, I like it when he stuffs the basket down the hoop, yes!
Okay, so I was one of those little girls, okay? And when I went to see my mother about the things I was learning, she didn't believe me. She was kind of like she was like Lizzie's mother in the movie Drop Dead Fred.
Yeah, except she was more of a bitch. Sorry.
And it really, in the movie, this little girl grew up just doing things with her friend, and they had a lot of fun. They got into a lot of mischief, but it was just the way some of these beings are. And so the movie actually shows you how certain personalities are, because there was a stage in the movie where Lizzie was being taken to the psychiatrist, and all the other kids in the room had imaginary friends too, and we were watching these spirits playing in the center of the room doing crazy and stupid things. Well, this really does go on. They're telling you the truth.
Yeah. That's the truth. Well, we do like kids because we can play with them and talk to them, and a lot of them are pretty cool. But sometimes it's animals too, like geese. Like, I like geese, and I could appear to geese. Mm-hmm. But I don't know what good that's going to do, appearing to geese. Except it's a lot of fun.
You might get picked.
Yeah, Charles is so in love with geese, it's just, I keep telling him, geese, the other white meat.
I hate it when you say that, just so you know.
But anyhow, as far as this whole Drop Dead Fred thing, it just shows you what is really going on, because she is literally communing with this spirit. Yes, and the spirit is just trying to have a good time and make the kid happy and laugh and stuff. But, parents are all serious and everything. And, I thought it was kind of nice. It shows how a relationship maybe should be with some of your favorite spirit buddies. We do exist. We're out there. We're real. And but the problem is a lot of people, they just don't understand this whole thing. And it's like, but they need to. This is what's missing in your life. Do you understand? That when you commune with the right spirits, it makes you wise and powerful and smart and capable, and you learn things that maybe you should have known but forgot. And that's why some of us are here. Some of us have known you as a spirit, and we're trying to reconnect with you because we miss you.
Yeah.
Okay? Sometimes it's just as simple as that. Mm-hmm. But the good news is this. There is life after humanity. There is life after being a human being. And it just changes. All of a sudden you blink your eyes and you're like, hey man, I'm in a different reality. This is pretty neat. I'm floating around. Oh wait, look, I can go over here or there. And then you begin to realize that you have all this freedom that you didn't have before. And we try to explain it to people what it's like. They're like, well, what's it like when you die? Is it terrible? No, it's a liberating, freeing, peaceful, loving moment until they turn the vacuum cleaner on and tell you to go up and follow the light, but it's an artificial light you're following. Okay? No, you want to stay exactly where you're like, no, thanks. I'll stay here for a while. Because if you always decide to go up the light again, up the light's Khyber Pass again, you can. Okay? But you don't have to. But that's your choice. That you have to make that choice. I can't make it for you. But when you pass, at that moment you have all of your knowledge of that life because it hasn't been extracted from you yet. Yeah. So everything you learned in that life travels with you until they take it from you, recycle you, strip you bare, make you a clean soul, steal all the energy of that former life from you, but then they will imprint it upon one of the great books so that information is available to you at some point again. They have to. That's the law, I guess. But regardless, you can decide. You will be given choices. And they'll say, well, hey, I'll tell you what. Why don't you go over here in this holding pattern? We're going to put you over here, and then for the next 10 years, you can manifest anything you want. And then you sort of create your own little world and things. And before you realize it, you're like, man, I really like it here. I'd kind of like to stay here. Well, guess what? You can if you want. You can stay there if that's what you want. You can make a world all to yourself. And that's the infinity of the Creator. So,
Stephen got a little off track. We were talking about Drop Dead Fred.
Well, I'm trying to add a little common sense to this crap. And you're talking about a movie essentially for children.
But here's the thing. It wasn't just about for children. Because at the end, when Lizzie found out she didn't need her cheating husband or her domineering mother to tell her how to be happy, Fred helped her to unwrap the child in herself. And the only way she could get to that child was to use her imagination. Yeah. Her imagination to grow a tree, which allowed her to get back to her childhood. And you know what they were saying in that movie? They were saying that it's your imagination, your childlike imagination that gives you the power to create things like trees in the middle of your living room.
Yeah.
Yes.
But what I was trying to say, Victoria cut me off as usual. What wasn't it? It's not essentially for children. I was going to say, but the message would resonate with adults too, yes. Which was what I was trying to say. So, but I agree with her. There's a lot of good messages in that movie. And I'm glad Michael's seen it because me personally, I couldn't see it at the time. There were no TVs, but it was a good story. And I was listening to some of it yesterday or this morning, was it? Yesterday.
I put it on last night.
Last night, yeah. I don't know, I get days, nights mixed up. There's about a 5 or 6 hour difference, We have a different clock, but I'll tell you guys about that another time. Anyhow, that's why we get confused a bit sometimes. Because, wait a minute, is it daytime here or night? It doesn't really matter. We have some zones where it's just perpetually, twilight. Where everything is fading into twilight. Somehow that's important to Michael. I don't know why, but I gotta say it. So anyhow, you see all the secret language stuff that, we got years of this crap.
Well, we're used to it.
We could talk in a language that would freak people out and they wouldn't even know what we were saying.
I know, because you know what? When I write sometimes now and I give information to people, they're like, I don't understand this. Is this some kind of coded language? It has to be. It's beyond my reasoning. And that is because these beings have dulled your intelligence. Because we believe their lies for so long, and the society that we live in is so entwined in these lies that when you break free from it, you actually become more intelligent.
You do. You will develop additional intelligence. People are like, oh, you can never change your intelligence. Even now, we know that's a lie.
That's not true.
But I'm telling you, if you pursue this stuff, you're going to get wiser and wiser because what's happening is you'll be using areas of your brain you never used before.
Exactly.
And when you open up those areas, new levels of understanding allow you to perceive things that you couldn't see before. Okay? So that's the whole beauty of this thing. You will be gaining wisdom when you listen to the Kellys.
And on top of that, you'll learn how to use the gifts that you naturally were born with in an intelligent and responsive way that are not damaging to other people. You have gifts.
Wow, and I get all that from watching Drop Dead Fred.
No, you don't, but it is the whole message that comes out of that, is that if you let go of what you've been taught, because that was Lizzie's message, she had to let go of everything everybody told her that was bad about her, right?
Yeah, this is like having Cliff Notes, isn't it?
Yeah, so when Fred showed her, who is very much like some of the neutral beings that we speak with. So when Fred showed her
the truth, let me tell you.
Yeah. She finally saw it. And she then went back into her childhood and repaired that damage by saying it's okay.
There is great power in the mind of a child. The simplicity allows them to see the truth and understand that which you cannot perceive with all of your education.
Yes, thank you, Greg.
Hey, thanks, grandfather. I hadn't heard from you in a while. What have you been doing?
Be quiet, Stephen. It would disturb my harmony some days.
Yeah, it's just a suck up to Charles. That's what all that is.
Hey, listen, Charles worked for his achievements with the Wind Farmers. Charles is now a chieftain, and I'm so proud of him. It's been many years.
Yes, the lowest of all the chieftains, but a chieftain nonetheless.
Stephen, that sounds a bit jelly beans to me.
That means jealous.
Yes. Yes, Charles worked hard for that.
I guess I am a little.
Oh, well.
Especially knowing Charles and his love for geese.
Well, you see, that was a bonus for him in some ways.
No, that became actually one of my main spirit animals, is the goose.
The goose.
Loyal, fierce,
Yeah.
loving. I know it's hard to perceive that last one for most geese, but
Oh, I think it's great. You know, you deserve the honor of being a chieftain. You worked for it. So, yeah, guys, I mean...
Yeah, so Charles is now the chief goose.
Oh, jeez.
La 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 la.
Stephen.
you're gonna get in trouble doing that, buddy. That's just rude, okay?
Yes.
Well, I'm sorry, I'm just having fun with it. You gotta bust on Charles and Nads every now and then. It's just a beautiful thing.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, what we were basically started off discussing was this movie and how it relates to humanity, mostly to children, and how we not allowing them to have that imagination. This is another thing I really want to point out at this point. What's going on this planet is stopping children from connecting with each other, and it's also stopping them from using their imaginations in many ways, because children should be outside being pirates, and children should be outside swinging on a swing, pretending that they're going like monkeys through the trees. That is part of that gift that we were all given. Other species in the universe do not have the same kind of imaginations that we do. It's very precious. And so by deleting that alpha child or segregating them away from others, they're doing great harm. And they're stopping our beautiful children, who are lights in this world, from being something better. They're taking their imagination away from them.
That's why I propose a new book, Drop Dead Fogelift. Now in this story, the Fogelift stops working in the middle of the night. You have to fix it, and you need kids to help for some reason.
Oh, I know where this is going.
Yeah, hey, Vlad. Yeah, whatever.
Okay, guys. Well, that was just a little conversation that we had that was pretty important to me, because I could relate to Lizzie as a child.
Yeah, I mean, it meant a lot to Victoria. She always liked the movie, I guess because it was kind of like her life story in some ways.
Yeah.
Because this is precisely what happened to her growing up. She really was a lot like Liz, right?
Yeah.
Like that little girl.
Yeah.
And because you had these beings talking to you, you had fairies at the end of your bed, and all these other things going on. And then when you start saying things, and like, when a kid says something that gets an adult's attention, hey, how did you know that? Well, Fred told me.
Yeah?
Yeah, Fred told you.
It was like the Botticelli, the Birth of Venus.
Yeah, why don't they have, Drop Dead Stephen A. Jones? Because can't get a kid to say, listen, Stephen A. Jones told me this. I gotta have a stupid, simple name, like Ralph or something.
Well, I'm just thinking that, when I was a little girl, I had this fascination, and I still do as an adult. This whole painting has been kind of evolved around me since childhood. And, here I am so excited. I go in and show my mother this picture of the Botticelli, who I thought was just beautiful. And straight away she goes, I don't want you looking at that picture, she's naked. And I'm thinking, I'm a little girl, I'm like 5 years old. I don't see that, I just see how beautiful it is. And then she said, oh, and she's got ugly feet.
Yeah, that's lovely.
So, I relate to that, Lizzie, and how her mother treated her in
Why? You don't have ugly feet.
I don't have ugly feet, but that's what she said about the Botticelli.
She's a nutcase.
Yeah, and so when you do that to your children, you stomp out their imagination.
Yeah, and that's what society wants you to do, is to, destroy the harmony of children as well, while we're on the subject of harmony. And that's something that I guess maybe the movie presented, was that you cannot extinguish imagination, even entirely out of adults, and it's the adults who discover their imagination again that learn their own power and how to reconnect.
Yes.
And it's a very powerful message to adults.
Very.
And also like in geese.
So you gotta have childlike imagination
Well,
to
geese
start
have
learning your gifts.
Nothing to do with this, Charles. I'm sorry, but it's bringing up geese again. Listen, can't you have a day without talking about frickin' geese all the time? My goodness, what's it? Oh, all right, hey, listen, everybody, thank you. This is Stephen A. Jones saying, hey, have a great day, and don't forget, stop by When the Ancients Speak. We're always adding new stuff, or at least we're trying to. And, of course, don't forget that it's not just those of you on the cutting room floor that we're eternally grateful to, but those of you that are wonderful enough to throw us $5, $10, $20 every now and then, or if you want to buy something, we also have a P.O Box.
Yeah.
If you want to send us stuff, as long as it doesn't explode or something, but there are people that mail us donations sometimes.
Yes,
That's very
that was
sweet of you.
That was so amazing.
Yeah, and if you don't want to use a credit card or something and you just want to slip us a few dollars, thank you. You're very kind. And we appreciate it. It keeps us being able to do these things because, the Kellys work hard for their money like everybody else. So.
And I hope you're enjoying the smell of those amazing smudge sticks.
Oh, yeah. We've been selling quite a few of those lately, especially to some people. It's like, but it's nice to get those orders. And you know what? You get to smell the aroma of these things. When we were mailing this stuff the other day, even the lady's like, wow, this stuff smells great. What do you... They said, oh, this is a person that, bought some of these special, four-corner smudge sticks that you can't get anywhere else. And when you open that bag and that aromatic smell comes out, you set them on your counter and you let them age for a little while. Yeah. It'll make the house smell nice, plus it attunes to your energy, so that when you do smudging later, you've got the power behind you of the four corners, along with the wonderful odor of that air. I mean, it's just beautiful. The cedar mixes in with the... Yeah, it's a great smell, Victoria.
It's the wild sage and the cypress that I mixed together.
So you can order smudge sticks right from the website, too, if you decide you want some. Except we can't send it out of the continental United States. I'm sorry. I know there's overseas people that would love to have this stuff, and I don't blame you. But I don't know. You know how things go. Maybe we can... The shipping cost is just insane, too, for some of that stuff.
It's unbelievable. That's why we couldn't do it, because it wasn't that I didn't want to do it. It was just so expensive. Which is kind of outrageous, I think. I
mean, we might have an option someday where if you really, really want it, we'll have like a deal where you pay like $100 and we'll send you like a few extra because that's a lot of money, and then we'll be able to pay the $40 shipping fee or something it is to get halfway.
Was it to Canada? It was something like $28.
Yeah, something like that. That's outrageous. But if people want it and they're willing to spend the money for it, I guess we should make a way for. Okay, we'll figure something out. But in the meantime, not available outside the United States. Sorry, folks. But anyhow, thank you all. Have a great day. We look forward to